Hey FLORA members, welcome to our weekly Q&A. We have some amazing questions and I'm really excited to dive in. If you're new here, my name is Molly and I'm the founder of FLORA Nutrition in the FLORA app. I'm a registered dietitian who specializes in GERD, acid reflux, LPR, IBS, and digestive health. I recovered from acid reflux and GERD and IBS myself, and now I help others do the same. So I'm so happy you're in the FLORA community and I hope you're enjoying the app. Let me know how it's going. Send me an email, reply to any of our weekly emails. By the way, if you don't get our weekly emails, we send out emails on Mondays to share what's new on the app. And then we also send out emails on Fridays to give you a little bit of a suggested schedule or a suggested menu option. So make sure you're getting those. If you're not, let me know because you may not be opted in. All right, so let's dive into our questions today. First one is, how can you increase motility? This is such an amazing question because motility plays an important role in reflux prevention, in your digestion. So motility is how quickly things move through the digestive tract, how quickly the food that you eat, moves through and gets eliminated. When we have slow motility, if things are sitting in the stomach for too long, or if we have constipation and there's this traffic jam, that can really cause reflux and nausea, indigestion. So supporting motility. Your nervous system controls your motility. Your vagus nerve is part of your enteric nervous system, and that controls the flow of digestion through the body. So, number one, manage stress. Do the FLORA healing tools like the guided meditations, the yoga daily. This is super, super important. Walking, gentle movement. You can incorporate high intensity movement if you enjoy that, but I definitely would encourage you to also do some lower intensity stuff like walking, yoga, Pilates. Getting enough water and electrolytes. So water through the body helps move things through. A little bit of electrolyte powder. I know that electrolyte powder is really tricky if you have GERD. A lot of them have citric acid. So I haven't really found one that I love for GERD except the trace mineral drops. They're literally just called trace minerals. It's a blue bottle. That can be really helpful. Getting enough food is really helpful. So enough fiber to help stimulate the intestines to contract. Enough food overall. If you're dealing with restrictive eating, definitely reach out to me, and I recommend booking a session with me so we can make sure that you're getting enough nutrition for your body. All right, the next question is, I have gastritis and mild GERD. I've been experiencing burning in my mouth. Nothing seems to be helping and it's adding to my stress. Any suggestions? Thank you. The burning in your mouth could be due to the reflux, and you may be having some of the more of the oral symptoms of acid reflux. So this, you say you have mild reflux, but if you're having some burning in your mouth, we definitely want to, this may be, quite a bit of reflux that's happening that is irritating the tissues of your mouth. So we really, really want to address this from a root cause perspective. Why are you having gastritis and reflux? A few things in addition to chronic stress, which can cause that. We want to look at your meal timing. So having consistent meal timing, smaller, more frequent meals may work better. Really going back to all of the meal timing or meal hygiene strategies rather. Meal hygiene, so really chewing well, good posture at meal times. Try to have your fluids outside of your meals, but stay hydrated, sipping fluids throughout the day. You may want to try alkaline water for your mouth. Alkaline water can be really, really helpful. And diaphragmatic breathing after your meals, that has been shown to help prevent reflux. So breathing with your belly, a few deep breaths after meals. Any toothpaste or oral hygiene recommendations? Yeah, so if you have consistent acid reflux, this can the acidity, if it's going all the way up and it's into the mouth, this can wear on the enamel and damage the teeth. So you do want to try to make sure that you're using you want to talk to your dentist and see what they recommend. But a good toothpaste, if you're having some enamel damage, ask your dentist to recommend one then for you, because I'm not a dentist. I mean a dental expert. But if you can't do mint toothpaste because it's really painful for your mouth, like you have LPR and it's really sensitive, you could look at the cardamom flavored toothpaste from a brand called Bite. I think it's called Bite. It's not called Bite, but I'm gonna find it and link it down below. They have a cardamom flavor, and it's not minty and could be better for your mouth. I think my omega capsules are irritating reflux. Any suggestions on how to take omegas? Yeah, so I love omegas if you have gastritis. If you have irritation from reflux, omegas are amazing. If they're irritating your reflux, you can try to look for one that doesn't have lemon oil. I personally don't think that lemon oil is irritating for most of my clients. But if you're really, really sensitive, then you have gastritis or it's really severe, you could take that out. But I've had clients with really, really severe symptoms tolerate those really well. So it might not be that, but it may be how big the omega pills are. The omega pills are huge, and if you're having some esophageal motility issues, which is, a root cause of acid reflux, if you haven't had an esophageal manometry test, and you've had every other test and you're still having reflux symptoms, you may want to talk to your GI doctor about an esophageal manometry test to make sure the esophagus is functioning properly. But the pills are so big that it may be just not, working well for you. So you could use flax oil on your food, flaxseed oil just on your food to get some omegas. You could do a chewable omega-3. Nordic Naturals makes one. It does have erythritol in it though, so if you are really sensitive to that, just take note of that. But, incorporating foods like walnuts, salmon, to up your omegas if you can't tolerate the pill. Quite a few of your recipes contain items that have low pH, such as strawberries, yogurt, and lemon, or are high in fat, such as tahini and nuts. My understanding from the dropping acid diet is that these things are problematic for GERD and LPR. So great question. So what I have found is that for people with LPR, really severe symptoms, having lower acid foods could be really helpful. Some people need to avoid strawberries or kiwis or the acidic fruits like blackberries, if they are already eliminating all of the other triggers and they're still very, very sensitive to acidic foods. It can be aggravating for people with LPR and reflux, but not for everyone. I would say like 80% of my clients can tolerate the fruits totally fine, like all of the fruits. It is from my experience working with hundreds of people with acid reflux, it's actually a pretty small percentage that really can't tolerate these fruits at all. You may be able to tolerate in small amount, or you may be able to bake them into something or put them in a smoothie or have them with toast or with a basic food. And Dr. Aviv actually mentions that in the acid water diet, I believe, that when you pair it with something basic, and Dr. Kaufman in Dropping Acid mentions like if you put a more acidic fruit like blueberries or berries into a smoothie with banana and almond milk, these help to buffer the acidity. So I really do work a lot with my clients in broadening their diet because it's already restrictive to have to remove all of the reflux triggers. Number one, not everyone needs to remove these fruits. But, if you do, then we can maybe figure out a way where you can incorporate them, or, we can incorporate them in smaller amounts, or figure out which ones are really your triggers. So it's not one size fits all. I wish it was more straightforward, but it's really usually not. I don't really have lemon in many things. If I do, it's in a soup that has like 10 servings and it's like half a lemon and it's very, very small. So I don't think that's going to be a problem in that small of an amount, but that's only in a few of the recipes. High in fat. So fat is a controversial thing for acid reflux. The thing about acid reflux is that unintentional weight loss is very, very common. And if we remove all of the fat from our diet, it's very likely we'll have some unintentional weight loss. And that can actually worsen acid reflux symptoms. Not getting any fat can also really contribute to some hormonal disruption, low calorie intake, not a low absorption of fat soluble vitamins. So we need fat still in our diet, and tahini, nuts, in moderate amounts. As long as we're not overdoing them, they're an important part of our diet. We need fat for our hormones, for our skin, for our brain. We don't want to overdo it and eat a ton of fat in one sitting, but having fat is important. And it is one way that you can, prevent unplanned weight loss and make sure you're getting enough nutrition is by having a little bit of healthy fats like tahini or nuts. I hope that answered your question. If you are not sure if you should be avoiding fruits that are acidic, we can go through your diet and do a food record and really identify, what are your triggers and what is your reflux diet like? Because it's not as cut and dried as the books may make it out to seem. And that's just based on my experience of working with people who have done these diets, and it doesn't always work. And so we really need to personalize it to you. How did you manage to stay consistent and motivated on your healing journey? Yeah, so this is huge. It's consistency with your mealtime hygiene, with your stress management, with your nutrition. It's a lot. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not alone. This is something that my clients talk about a lot, is feeling, unmotivated, feeling like I should be better by now, or what if I never get better? And those thoughts are natural. Those are thoughts that a lot of my clients deal with, and we have to remember that it took time to get where you are now. You may be dealing with these symptoms for months, for years, for decades. It's going to take time and consistency to form new habits and to get where you want to be. So we have to stay consistent and be patient with our bodies, and remember that this is going to take time. If you don't see results, in the first few weeks of your journey, this is going to take some time. We have to be patient with our bodies. Visualize that future for yourself. Visualize yourself well. Believe it. If you don't believe that you can get better, with anything in life, if we don't believe we can, we won't. You have to believe. And so use the gut healing affirmation meditation and visualize that future for yourself. The gut healing affirmation meditation is under the Start Here playlist and then in the gut directed meditation playlist. Molly, thanks for your help. After years of bloating and heartburn, your advice has made an amazing improvement in my health. Initially, I was skeptical about the value of meditation and yoga, but I am now convinced you are correct in their value. That is so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. The difficult thing for me is maintaining the habits, the discipline to keep it up. When the pain is gone, it's so easy to slide back into bad habits. Yes. So easy to slide back into bad habits when you're feeling like good. And you're like, maybe I can go back to these things. But you have to remember, when you get IBS or acid reflux, you have to relearn how to take care of yourself in a way. And things may not be the same as they used to be. And so we have to consistently continue to take care of ourselves. Remember your why. So you are making time for these things. You are choosing these foods. You are implementing these systems in your life because you're worth it and your future self depends on it. And so make things as easy as possible for you. Automate your groceries if you can. Use the same grocery list, and you want to get some diversity, but automate anything you can. If you need to get your supplements on auto delivery, or if you need to get, a book where you keep all of your recipes, so you remember. If you want to print out my cookbook, have systems in place. Think about your own life and what is going to help you stay consistent. Is it scheduling in your yoga? Really think about what's going to help me stay consistent. Remember that you are, worth this self-care and worth the planning that it takes to eat healthy, because it's not only helping you prevent symptoms, but it's also elevating your overall health. Molly, I am trying to gain weight, but I have a low appetite. I really need to fit in a snack before bedtime. What foods would you suggest I eat around bedtime that would not aggravate my reflux? Yeah, so if you need a bedtime snack, I recommend going with something carb-based. So a non-spotted banana, like just right banana, is going to be the best choice for reflux compared to a spotted one. Because of the Fodmaps. So spotted bananas are kind of high in a type of fermentable carbohydrate called Fodmaps. And so I recommend the non-spotted banana, or you could do crackers, like rice crackers. You could do pretzels, maybe with like a little bit of like lactose-free cottage cheese or something with a little bit of protein. You could do, if you tolerate yogurt or coconut yogurt, you could do that with a little bit of banana. Or you could try rice cakes with maybe just a little bit of sun butter. I'm trying to think. You could do like half an 88 acres bar, or half like an oatmeal bar, a little bit of oatmeal. Yeah, something carb, because fat is going to empty a little bit slower from the digestive tract. So you want to focus on something like that. Alrighty, I'm going to our next page of questions. I was diagnosed with GERD in May and have been healing and doing okay. I am not currently going through perimenopause. I just figured out I have mold toxicity. Do any of these have to do with one another or cause an effect in another way? So, hormones definitely impact reflux. If you notice that you're in a hormonal change, whether that's menopause or your period, these hormonal shifts can exacerbate GERD. We don't know why for sure. We, meaning the medical community. I just attended a big conference, or a webinar is a better word, seminar for GERD, and we talked a little bit about the hormonal impact. There isn't enough research on this yet, but there can be a link. There can also be link with mold toxicity. If your body is under stress from mold toxicity, this can aggravate a host of digestive issues. So really important to work with someone that knows what they're doing. And I will book the link to book a discovery call, request a discovery call with me, or book a session. Can you elaborate a little bit more on antidepressants that can help with reflux? Yes. So 2 antidepressants that can help with reflux, depending on your root cause, are amitriptyline and nortriptyline. So these 2 antidepressants are used at low doses, sometimes when we have a lot of nerve sensitivity in the esophagus. So if you've done a pH impedance test, or if you've done all of the tests and they are showing, nothing, and if you did a pH impedance test, this is really showing, if you're refluxing after meals, what your reflux is like. And if it's not really showing a whole lot, your doctor might recommend a low dose antidepressant. It's not enough to impact you psychologically, but it can help with the nerves. Because sometimes what happens to people with reflux is that the nerves of their throat get so sensitive, or the nerves in their esophagus get so sensitive that any bit of motion or any bit of sensation can feel like reflux, but you may not be actually refluxing. And so this is really, really important. This happens with LPR as well, laryngopharyngeal reflux, so sensitivity in the mouth, in the throat, the tongue. Sometimes they'll use these antidepressants or a combination of the two for reflux or laryngopharyngeal reflux. So definitely something to ask your doctor about. Next question, can I please have your experience about liquids with meals, such as smoothies or soups? Are these a trigger in reflux? This came up in the recent seminar that I attended, and this is so interesting because anecdotally, I have noticed this when I was going through GERD, that sometimes soups and smoothies were a huge trigger. And some of my clients do really well with soups and smoothies if they have slow motility, if they have gastroparesis, things are moving too slow, but other people really don't do well. And I think it's really individual, and you kind of, we have to experiment with this for yourself. But I will say for some people, they can be a trigger. If you feel like you're having a lot of reflux after smoothies, I encourage you to try to drink it slower. Try to drink it over the course of 10 to 15 minutes and chew well. Same with your soups, sitting up tall, not eating too quickly. So the stomach fills at a slower rate. And maybe going for a gentle walk after to try to keep gravity moving down. But I think it has something to do with the liquid that is maybe more likely to reflux up. This can be individual, but something to look out for and experiment in yourself. Sometimes people don't do well when liquid and food is mixed, like in a soup. But other people feel that it's really, really easy, for them to digest and they're feeling good. So nutrition, I wish it was more cut and dried. I know my answers aren't always X plus Y equals B, but it's not always cut and dried. But I will say, you should feel validated in that question, because a lot of people have that question. Do you think it is better for reflux sufferers to eat solid food, such as a plate of meat and salad and veggies and carbs, rather than big smoothies or big meals? As are soup and smoothies more likely to cause reflux because of their high consistency, high liquid content? So yeah, kind of similar to the question before. It's individual. We need to, keep a food record for about 4 days and kind of identify, what that looks like for you. Are there any things and patterns we're noticing? In general, I don't recommend big soups or big smoothies. having a little bit of soup, and then your meal could be totally fine. But big smoothies, big volume, anything is not great for reflux. We want to try to, cooked veggies is you can have raw veggies if you have reflux, but you want to be mindful of really big raw salads. This volume just kind of overfills the stomach. If you're feeling like 100% full or 110% full after eating, it's probably too much. And we want to work on, thinking about 80% fullness, 80 to 90% fullness at meal times to prevent reflux. However, if you're dealing with early satiety and you're having, gastroparesis-like symptoms, like really, really full after meals, uncomfortably full, nausea, we want to think about low volume, high nutrient density foods. Try to eat your proteins first and your carbs first, your veggies last. Chew your food really well, and definitely book a session with me if you have gastroparesis or you're dealing with symptoms like that. I hope this was helpful. Really great questions this week, guys. If you want to submit a question, go to the programs tab on the app, hit submit a question, and I would be happy to answer it for you next week. All right, take care, everyone, and I will see you soon.